All right, here we go. Brand new Flyers Daily for the 29th of October, 2025. Flyers Daily presented by Ticketmaster. Make more memories live. We are coming off of an absolutely bananas hockey game between the Flyers and the Penguins. Bananas. Like, I've been watching hockey a long time. Not as long as some other people. I'm 53. I've been watching since I was probably 5, whatever. So what is that, 47, 48 years? And just when you think like you've seen everything, you haven't. I've never seen that before. I've never seen, first of all, a guy jump off the bench for the goalie when a delayed penalty call. I've never seen a guy jump off that early like Evgeny Malkin did. I mean, that was ridiculous. Seeloffs was in his second stride from the crease when Malkin jumped on the ice. It was ridiculous. I don't know why it's not a too many men on the ice. It's just an illegal like substitution, but it's only a player change, I guess, in overtime. Another strange rule. And then the Flyers have an offside called on what was presumably the game-winning goal in overtime. So then they're denied the victory via review. Then you go to that shootout, and Bobby, I don't remember seeing guys do 4 moves on a shootout attempt like Bobby Brink did for what turned out to be the shootout winner. So what a crazy game. We're going to recap it all. Kind of in like Gotham chess style. I don't know if anybody knows what that means, but it's a YouTube channel I got addicted to while I was recovering from my treatments because I love chess, and he breaks down chess games. So I digress. We'll break down the game from stem to stern and talk about the meaning of the win and what Rick Tocchet and his coaching staff will try to do with that win, if that makes sense. It all makes sense in a little bit. I also want to comment on Jett Luchanko because I didn't in yesterday's episode. I had to record yesterday's episode a little early. Sometimes I have to work in advance because I had a medical procedure yesterday. So I had to do prep for it and everything. So I actually recorded most of that episode before the news even came out. So I do want to comment on Jett Luchanko going back to the Guelph Storm. And for the people on the internet that say this means he's a bust, you don't be ridiculous. The kid turned 19 2 months ago in August. I guess that's 3 months ago almost now. But anyway, we'll talk about development when we get to it. But let's get to the game because this was an absolutely crazy hockey game. First of all, it entailed 34 shots from the Flyers, 26 from the Pens. I thought the goaltending at both ends was really good. I didn't like the first goal Ersson gave up because you don't get the seal on the post on the right side. That's when Justin Brazeau got his 6th of the season to open the scoring, 10-19 into the first. It was like at the end of a shift, and Konechny, I thought, could have crashed down harder on Brazeau coming down the side, but it's at the end of his shift. He's a little shot at that point, and Brazeau flubs the shot, but it still ekes in through Ersson on the short side between him and the post. And I talked about this on the radio. When you go to Flyers practice, you'll see the goalies come out early and work with Kim Dillabaugh, the goalie coach. And almost every day they work on, we like to sound smart as goalies. We call it post-integration. And how you integrate with your post to get a perfect seal so pucks can't leak through there. Ersson didn't get the perfect seal there, whether he flubbed the shot or not. And Brazeau puts the Pens on the board. They're up 1-0. But Flyers on the power play, which is now their top power play, which is Cates, Forster, Brink, Zegras, and Cam York. They break through to get the game tied at 17-25. Bobby Brink picks up the loose puck in front. After Zegras gets to Cates kind of turns and shovels it. Seeloffs makes a pad save. But the guy that doesn't get a point on this power play is Tyson Forster. He gets the Myrtetus honorary point because of what he's doing on the left side of the net, driving his defender, makes the goal possible. Now, he doesn't even touch the puck. Doesn't get a stick on it. Isn't part of the passing play. But if what he does doesn't happen, all of those other things don't get a point because his positioning at the left side of the net in tight is exactly how you have to score goals in this league. You have to go to the blue paint. We talk about it all the time. Like this Flyers team scores in tight. That's where they're scoring most of their goals from. Yeah, you have the odd shot where Couturier, after that great pass from Zegras behind the net in the one game, gets that goal against Florida. You have those things that happen sometimes. But most goals are scored there. And like that line knows, on the power play too, to get the puck there and get bodies there and get positioning. And because of what Forster does, he gets a Myrtetus honorary assist. So, but it's Brink's third goal of the season on the power play. Great news again to see the power play producing. Zegras and Cates with the assist, 1-1 after one. Then in the second period, a guy that we would love to get going, and that's Travis Konechny. 2:46 in. He was stopped earlier in the period, shorthanded. Silovs made a great save on him. But then as it goes back to 5-on-5, Silovs doesn't get this one. He goes down the right side and just beats Silovs with a great shot. Couturier and Brink with the assist. So Brink a goal, power play goal, and an assist. Couturier, Konechny, his second goal of the season, 200th of his NHL career. Huge if they can get Konechny going. So you can get scoring from all three lines. Boy, you're a dangerous team. You're in a different category. So the Flyers go into the third period on this occasion up by a goal. And we've seen them come back. Saw it the other day. Saw them go down 2-0, go down 3-2, get it tied at 3, and then come back and win it in a shootout. Well, here they go into the third period up 2-1. But at 11:57, I swear the Flyers so far this season, one of the most amazing things about their record to me is the fact that I think that they've had horrible puck luck. Horrific puck luck so far. And there's another shining example of it. Crosby behind the net, throws the puck out in front. It hits off the stick of Sealer, goes up in the air, hits Sealer in the shoulder, upper body area, hits the post, hits Ersson, and then goes in the net. Can you think of worse puck luck ever? He had one earlier this season that hit, I think it was Sealer's stick, hit Drysdale or somebody, a defenseman, dropped, and then Warren scored for the other day for Seattle. I guess it was the Islanders. I mean, some horrible puck luck so far this season. They've overcome it. But anyway, it's Crosby. Ho-hum, here we go again. 8th goal of the season, by the way. He's off to a great start. It's like 4th in the league in scoring. Malkin's tied for the league lead in scoring. So that's how it would end in regulation. Tied at 2. Start over. Go into the overtime. Flyers get called for a penalty in the overtime. Evgeny Malkin jumps on the ice, gets the puck in the high slot, shoots and scores. Game over, right? Not so fast, because Malkin was a little too fast. Malkin jumped on the ice before the ref's arm was fully extended up. It went like he got the elbow up, didn't even get the arm up yet, and Malkin's already on the ice. Needless to say, Silovs may be a fast skater, but he ain't that fast. He was not even at his own blue line, I think, when Malkin came on the ice, and certainly not at the red line. He changed too early, so the goal's waved off. But it's not a penalty. It's just like an illegal substitution. Came on too early. Why that's not a too many men penalty, I don't know, because it is too many men on the ice. There's now, when he jumps on the ice, there's 4 skaters and a goalie. There's 5 Penguins on the ice. That's too many men in a 3-on-3 situation. The most you could have is 4. So that rule needs to be looked at. Okay, I digress. Goal doesn't count. Eventually, it's 4-on-3 power play still for the Penguins. Flyers are killing it off. At the end of it, the Penguins take a penalty in the flow of play. So out of the box comes Trevor Zegras. Now it's 4-on-4. And then the Penguins get a penalty call. The arm goes up. Sam Ersson goes off. And now it's 5-on-4. You never see 5-on-4 in overtime. It can never happen unless that chain of circumstance happens. Because now you have 5 skaters, no goalie, so it's not too many men for the Flyers, against 4 Penguins, because it's just 4-on-4 until the first whistle. Then the Flyers go on the power play. And eventually on that power play, they get the goal. Tyson Foerster with a death shot just beats Silovs right in the high slot. It gets looked at, challenged, and it turns out deemed to be offside, no goal. So we got a disallowed goal on both sides. Some of the weirdest circumstances in this side of it I've ever seen in an overtime since 3-on-3 has been put in for sure. And eventually, all right, let's go to the shootout. Okay. Guy scored his 200th goal for the Flyers last night. Got the go-ahead goal to make it 2-1, Travis Konechny. He goes in on Silovs. He's got to switch up his moves a little bit. He's trying that little flip back a little too much now. Silovs had the book, made the save. So Flyers miss on their first attempt. Then Brian Rust goes in on Sam Ersson, cool as a cucumber. Ersson makes the save. Then Mishkov goes in. If you didn't see this one yet, go on Twitter or YouTube or whatever. Look at the backhand shelf in tight that Mishkov pulled off. Oof, disgusting. Unbelievable finish from Mishkov to beat Silovs to put the Flyers up 1-0 in the shootout. But then Malkin, who again leads the NHL, been around for 38 years, goes in, cool as a cucumber, and just what a perfect shot. Just beats Ersson. Now we're tied at 1 in the shootout again. Then Bobby Brink goes in. Already has a goal in the game on the power play and an assist. And he goes in and he puts not 1, not 2, I sound like LeBron, not 3, but 4 stick handles in tight on Silovs and eventually goes backhand and beats him. 4. He didn't start the first one until he was maybe 3 feet from the top of the crease. I see guys go 3, go forehand, forehand in, or backhand, backhand up. But to go forehand, backhand in is ridiculous. I see that goal and I go, dude's got just truckloads of confidence to try that. And turns out to be the shootout winner because Ville Koivunen goes in on Sam Ersson. What does Ersson do in the shootout? Come out, make himself big, flow back with the player. We talked to him about it when he and Vladar were on last week. He loves to flow back with the player. Vladar plays the shootout a little bit different, stays a little deeper. Sam likes to challenge, come out, make himself big to the guy, then flow back with him. He flows back with Koivunen, makes the save, gives the no goal sign. Flyers win the game 3-2 in the shootout. What an unbelievable game. Absolutely curveball after curveball, knuckle curveballs, whatever you want to call it. That was a crazy, crazy hockey game. We've seen the Flyers play the Penguins a ton. Penguins come into this game 7-2-1 on a back-to-back. Crosby had 3 points the night before. Gets this crazy goal in this game. I mean, this game had everything. What a crazy regular season game. Now, in yesterday's episode, I talked about this week and how I had it circled on the Flyers schedule, but not just regular ink. I didn't break out the Uniball. I broke out the bright red Sharpie and circled these 4 games. Penguins, Nashville, Toronto, and Calgary coming in this weekend to wrap up the 9 games out of 10 at home and start the month of November. To get the win last night, coming off the win on Saturday against the Islanders, where, again, you were down 2-0, got it tied at 2. Went down 3-2, got it tied at 3. Got it to overtime in the shootout and won it. Got the 2 points. And then to come back in this game where they score first, you tied on the power play, you take the lead, they have a quadruple doink goal from Crosby behind the goal line, tie it, go to overtime, think you lost on the Malkin goal that was eventually disallowed, think you won on the Tyson Forster shot, to the shootout, to reset all these times and do, like, what does Rick Tocchet and his coaching staff do with this game and these last 2 games in particular? Now, to me, this is just the way I think, and I'm sure maybe Rick Tocchet and his staff sat in the coach's room last night after the game and sat down after everything settled down, maybe had a beer and just said, what did we just see? What did our team just do in the last 2 games with these multiple goal comebacks and the resilience and the not just packing it in and, thinking it's over and it's not over, and then thinking we won and it's not won, and we still reset and we win. Like, how do we maximize what happened in the Islander game over the weekend and the comeback way they won that game and the Penguin game and all that crazy circumstance? How do we take all of this experience that we just went through in the last 2 games in front of our home fans and entertaining hockey, and how do we use it for our brick-by-brick mentality? How do we maximize the effect of what we just stood in there and accomplished? It's like a boxer who just keeps getting up and standing in there. You think you got the other guy beat? No, you don't. He comes back, and then he's got you beat. It's extreme focus. It's hard to do when you think a game's over, to reset, recalibrate, and get the job done. But I imagine Rick Tocchet and his coaching staff are looking at this and going, huge opportunity for us as a staff to use these games to really drill in some belief into this group. Because, I mean, there were points in the game where the Flyers are up 2-1 and they have all these chances and Seelows is making great saves and you're going, well, they should be up by 3-1, 4-1. Not happening. Then the third period, Ersson had to make an unbelievable right to left save. Made a great save on Crosby, a redirection in tight, like timely, huge saves at big times at both ends of the ice, and the goaltenders are doling it out. I mean, what do you do with these two games? And Ersson battling Sorokin on Saturday. Talk goes back to him last night. We'll see Vladar Thursday. That's my bet. Vladar will get Thursday. Ersson will get Saturday. Vladar will get Calgary, his former team, on Sunday. That's my plan. And I was kind of calling for Ersson in yesterday's episode for last night. So good call by me. But how do you maximize what just happened for this team's future? And what does this win, the 2 points last night, mean for this 4-game stretch? It's everything. I said last night in yesterday's episode, ideally, you want to get at least 6, hopefully 7. Perfect world, obviously, all 8 points of these 4 games this week at home. Well, you got 2 last night. You can't get the 7 or the 8 if you don't get any last night, and you can't get to 8 if you didn't get 2 last night. And they did. And they overcame a whole boatload of adversity to do it in the last 2 games. The last 2 games, if this season goes into them battling for a playoff spot, and I'm not saying it is, we're still way too early. It's like too small of a sample size. They're legitimately, though, off to a good start. Legitimately off to a good start. 9 games in, 5-3-1, 11 points, plus 3 in goal differential. They've won their last 2 in very adverse conditions against division opponents in the Islanders and the Penguins. And the Islanders came into that game winning 4 straight. Penguins came into that game last night playing really good hockey. Penguins came in 7-2-1. Now they're 7-2-2. They got a point out of it. They've played 11 games. Flyers played 9. Flyers have 11 points. They have 16. So it's a huge win last night. It's huge foundational building blocks for this year's team, the 25-26 Flyers. Enormous building blocks. I enjoyed the game thoroughly. I had an absolute, it was so many curveballs you didn't see coming. It was dizzying on the postgame show trying to suss it all out. It's been dizzying trying to remember to suss it out here. But what a game. What a game. And, man, Jamie Drysdale hit the post last night with a shot. I didn't know he could rip it like that with a snapshot, by the way. Whoa. I thought he was really good in the game. I thought Sealer was really good in the game last night. I think Mishkov's legs are coming. And I got this DM from a guy when the game ended. He said, hey, Jason, first off, want to say glad to hear the news of you being cancer-free after watching the game tonight. I was thinking, wow, Zegras is not as advertised in a good way. I assumed, sure, he was high skilled, but lacked any fight, grit, will to win, whatever you want to call it. Seeing him at the end of the regulation and overtime tonight, chirping and stirring things up, was not what I expected out of him when the Flyers traded for him, and I love it. That came from Matt Linkner. Totally agree, Matt. He did take himself out of the running to go in the shootout, which I prefer he'd not do because he's good at it. But that's the culture of the locker room. It was Noel Acciari going at it with Tyson Forster at the end of overtime. And Zegras is on the ice and was like, I'm going to stick up for my teammate. So he went in and got involved. That's culture. I'd rather not have Zegras in that shootout last night, especially in hindsight, because I know they won it, and have done that than be a bystander just standing there watching your teammates go in there and roughhouse it, which is something we saw a couple years ago with Austin Matthews against the Flyers, where he kind of just stood there. And we've seen that culture problem haunt that team. I want guys that want to get in there. And there's guys that pull you into it. And I don't think about Tyson Forster and Trevor Zegras when I think about that stuff. And Jamie Drysdale, who was also on the ice. Those are the guys I would not think would be involved in an altercation like that at the end of a game. Yet there they all were. What does that tell you? I think that's a big thing. I think it's a real big thing. So thanks for the note. Matt, we did have a procedure yesterday. I'll have some news on that coming up as I seek some more clarification. All my scans and everything were good, as we talked about. So I have some hills to climb and things to do. My journey's definitely not over, but we'll take things on as they come. We want to stomp everything out for good, and that's what we're going to do. So that may require some more things that I have to do. We'll get some more clarity on that in the next couple of days. And I, of course, will keep everybody here updated on it as well. You guys have been great along this journey. And even though the journey, we're not at the home base just yet, we're making our way there. We will get there. All right, Jett Luchanko, real quick, being sent back to Guelph. First of all, I agree with Danny Briere. I watched his availability. He's got to play. The guy's got to play. And for whatever reason, he didn't look as close to being ready for the NHL this year as he did last. Now, maybe that's because last year his speed stuck out more because they had less overall team speed. That might be part of it. Look, I think the Torts PR machine was behind him too. I think that was part of it. I think he came in healthier and wasn't dealing with an injury right away. But ultimately, he's got to play. And it's not like you go back to Guelph and like he's going to play for the Bad News Bears. Is it ideal? No. The ideal place would be the AHL and the Phantoms, but that's not an option. So we got to stop talking about it. Does it mean he's a bust? No. He just turned 19 years old. Some guys get to the NHL very fast. Some guys don't. Doesn't mean player A is going to be better long-term than player B. Where Jett Luchanko goes, I don't know. Is he going to end up being a third-line center? Is he going to be a 2C? I don't know. But to say that this is an indication that they took the wrong player because he went back to juniors when he just turned 19, to me is a bit premature and frankly a bit uneducated on the arc of development of hockey players. It just is. So I would have loved for him to have made this team and forced their hand. Of course. I was okay with him sticking around a little bit longer in case an injury happens and your hand gets forced and his role would be elevated. But they made the decision to send him back now. The thing that I think is most important is that you're doing what you think is best for the player's long-term development, not immediate. It is the long play that matters most. Where you want to get that player to at his peak so he can achieve his peak and not by overwhelming him too early when he's not ready for it. So we'll see how it plays out. It's going to take time, but let's kind of save the hot takes that he's a bust because he was sent back at 19 years old to junior, like he's the first player, a first-round pick to ever have that happen. It's a little too hot takery for me. All right. What a wild game. Holy, what a wild game. All right. Flyers and Predators coming up on Thursday. Game 2 of this, circled in red Sharpie, week of Flyers hockey. We'll preview it tomorrow. Join us then on a brand new Flyers Daily.